Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sherlock Investigations. Today's episode is titled The Case of the Missing Holmes, and I will be your DM, Kohlrabi. I fixed an issue while the intro video was going, so hopefully you can hear me. I noticed it right off the bat, so let us know if there's any other sound issues or anything in the chat before we get too far into it. We appreciate you, chat. So before we get into the episode today, if I can have my players go around in overlay order and introduce themselves, making Turk last since he's in the spotlight.
All right, I'm Lukalak, and I am playing Honest McFarlane, the Scottish barbarian. Handsome William, that's you.
You're muted.
Yeah, Al's muted. There we go.
Sean.
Nailed it. Very good. Perfect as ever. Going to be good at these puzzles. Hey, it's Al the Biffer, playing Handsome William, the bugbear monster hunter ranger.
Hey guys, my name's Chrissy. I will be playing Aurora. She is a Rune Knight fighter.
Hello, I'm Hyacinth, playing Dr. Alabaster Grayson, the Dampier Druid Wizard.
Hello, I'm Sarah Franco, and I'm playing Duke Schultz, the Dwarf Warlock.
Hello everyone, I am Turk, and I'm in a really big space. And I'll be playing Chelsea Chelcry, the human rogue. Shocking, I know.
All right, great. So with that, we recently saw Aurora having some weird dreams. A lot of things have been happening in the house, and some of the context for this episode does exist in a downtime RP. If you're not in the Discord, you can easily get access to that RP eventually in the Discord to add some context to this episode. That being said, if you're not in the Discord or don't use Discord, you will not be missing out on anything important. It just will flesh it out a little bit more. So we see our current adventurers in a room with Marcus, the Warforged. Nobody really knows, but they call him the butler. And they just received a box. I believe someone has discovered that the box does have signs of blood on it. And the kicker to all of this is no one's heard from Sherlock for quite some time. The past couple episodes have actually been correspondence from other people outside of Sherlock, and Marcus himself has not heard from Sherlock as well. It's become a point where everyone in the house is worried. So much so that we see ourselves having a bigger cast than normal this episode. As well, Marcus has sent a letter to someone new that has been traveling around Epping, and we are going to introduce them in a moment. Before we get there, as I said, we are all standing in a room, which is Sherlock's office, having a meeting around the box. Does anyone want to say anything before we dive into anything else? What are you guys thinking since we last started messing with the box? Oh, by the way, Chrissy...
A magnanimous
Oh
dispensation.
no. I was going to say Chrissy has the box in her hands. Aurora has the box in her hands as everyone talks to Marcus. I will get to that, Mr. Rogers, in a second. So... Marcus...
Say we crack it open.
Yeah. Just spring
I'll
it.
just pull out my greatsword.
All right.
Give it a whack.
I don't think that'll work, but I mean, hold 1 second. And Marcus will point towards the box in Aurora's hands. And this is the point where we need to enter the realm of imagination. On the box is actually inscribed something. And let me go ahead, and before we get to that, I'm going to see real quick what's going on with this deck. So, are you going to try to hit it right off the bat, Anis, or are you going to wait a second?
If anyone's trying to stop me,
You might
but
smash.
otherwise she'll. I mean, if Aurora's gonna set it down, then Honest will try. Do you mind setting it on the floor? I'll give it a whack.
Oh yeah, and you might break whatever in there.
What have we tried so far?
Well, nothing.
Oh, I thought.
We tried breathing on it and looking at it.
Did we even try opening it normally, or
Oh,
do we even know it's a
Sounds
trick
alright.
of some sort or sealed or?
Honest will pick it up and just kind of take her longsword and just kind of try like wedge at whatever crack or opening she can see.
all right, great. So while you guys are fiddling around with it, kind of looking at it, I did roll the deck of TPK things, and this is where you're going to have to bear with me, Mr. Rogers, because what I rolled is very huge for this campaign, but I can't promise that anything will be seen this episode. So for the viewers and the cast, you will not know until you know.
What did you roll?
I'm not going to tell you.
You gotta message Mr. Rogers then.
Yes.
And then we can all try and bribe him to tell us.
I will let you know. I will let Mr. Rogers know specifically so that he knows that he is getting his money's worth. But it is something that does not take immediate effect. Something in the world has changed, and you might be able to feel it in the air. But that's about it. As you guys are meddling with the box,
Open a window.
That's me.
Marcus mentioned that there's something
Nice breeze.
inscribed on the box. And as you guys notice this, you hear a knock on the door. And
I didn't get it open, but there's something written on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's our last member. I sent a letter to someone who is in the same area where Sherlock was last seen. Come in. And as the door opens, Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so in comes a mountain dwarf with a well-kept goatee and mustache, smartly dressed. He does have a thick gray wool coat, which he quickly takes off and lays over his arm, and sits, as he walks into the room, looks around kind of quickly and seeing Marcus. Marcus, I received your correspondence and I am pleased to be here. Shall I wait outside? It seems you are quite well kept.
Yes, thank you for coming. No, we might need your help. You see, I received this box not long after messaging you, and there's some weird inscription on it, and I think the members here are just trying to open it real quick. Bless you. Bless you.
Well, I would hate to interrupt such an occasion. I can stand off to the side. Quickly, hello, I'm Duke Shulks. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Like a duke, like royalty.
Perhaps in some cultures that is the custom, but no, I'm just a simple man, simple tasks.
Well, pleasure, Duke.
Alright.
My
Nice
name
to
is
meet you.
Dr. Alabaster Grayson. Nice to meet you.
So, apologies. I want to give. So we have Miss Anis, he will walk up and give a
Hey,
firm handshake.
Honest McFarlane.
Lovely to meet you. And I'm sorry, you were saying, Doctor.
Dr. Alabaster Grayson, nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. May I ask your field of study?
Psychology, psychiatry, you know.
Fair enough. And he turns and kind of pulls at his vest to the rest of the group.
Aurora will walk over and shake his hand and introduce herself. Hi, my name's Aurora Talise. And she'll just kind of like point over towards the box. Any ideas on this thing? It's been driving me crazy.
Honest will shake it in her hand.
Pleasure to meet you, Aurora. And he'll kind of look around. I might take a closer look at that. I'm not sure if I will know anything about it, but worth a shot.
There's a bit of writing on there, but I couldn't get it open with my greatsword.
What kind of lock is there on there? Dial lock, sliding codes, key, what do we need?
Does not
Doesn't
look like
look like there are any lock.
Annis knows.
I know you, Cole.
So for people who might have a hard time seeing, maybe you're on mobile or anything, and just for the players, on the top of the box is kind of like burnt in 16, 06, 68, 88, question mark, 98.
Get a copy pasta in the chat of that, GM.
Yeah, you sure can. Just give me a
Do you mind
quick
awfully if I
second.
take a closer look at that?
Honest handed it to our new friend here, Duke.
Duke would have taken it and turned it over in his hands. It seems the craftsmanship is rather lovely, but I'm afraid that my artisan knowledge lies in metal, not woodworking. So, unfortunately, I'm unaccustomed. It seems you, sir, you wanted a closer look. I'm sorry, I did not catch your name.
Oh, they call me William. Don't you worry. You said something then that interested me, actually. Or rather, you turned the box upside down just then.
Yeah, was that not something? I'm sorry. Was that
Sorry, when you turn them numbers upside down.
right? He'll turn it upside down again.
86, question mark, 88, 89, 90, 91.
Oi! Handsome William's a smart William.
Oh, I can't sit around listening to you lot poshans talk all day, can I? Someone's got to do something around here. We're off.
Alright, so what's the numbers
where?
mean then?
I mean,
92.
either way, it's numbers are numbers. Does the different numbers mean something to you?
Or 87.
As soon as you say 87,
I was gonna come over to the box and say 87.
go ahead and open the box, whoever has it in their hands, aka Chrissy.
Oh!
Open the top of the box. You're muted, by the way.
So the top doesn't open.
Oh, it doesn't.
It's actually stuck. Oh no.
What a surprise!
You guys
What
have
if
to
you-
figure out how to open
could
the
you-
box.
Could I use a
I
lock
assume
picking?
now we're all standing around in a circle. Well,
What if you push the
slide
top or something?
it, could you try and just poke right here?
Are you
Just
telling me
whack
that
it.
you already tried to open it,
use
Chrissy?
a great sword.
No, I
Why
swear,
can't it
this is the
jiggle?
first time, but the top isn't.
There's hinges. There's hinges right there.
Jiggly
so-
waggle.
Are you maybe being too delicate?
Yeah,
Just
see, there's
crank on
hinges
it.
right on the back, so it should flip up.
Give it all you got.
You have a knife or something?
no!
Here.
Maybe just whack it a few times first.
Yeah, get some air bubbles in there.
I've got a memory that would go quite nicely with this moment. Hang on.
You panicked?
Little
I have
bit.
another one.
Yeah, no, the top does not open. But there is a small door.
Oh, pull it out. Yeah.
I can't.
It's a puzzle box.
Well, then,
This to the wrong person.
Wait. Has anyone in this campaign said this word? No shit, Sherlock.
So we figured it out in game, but not out of game. Is that what's happening?
Duke would have shuffled over to Marcus and said, I'm sorry to interrupt, but might I have a refreshment? I have been traveling all day and just rather parched. Might be able to focus a bit more with something to...
Yes, of course. What can I get you?
I'll be happy to find it, and he'll wander away briefly while they're struggling to open the box.
Honest is just gonna after him, just kind of hold out her. Oh, okay. Her flask back in her jacket.
He'll return shortly with a beer, which, Prost, and he'll just chug
Chrissy,
it in front of him.
have you tried saying 87 aloud? That seems to have done it in game.
87.
You gotta kind of yell
If
it.
it actually works.
87.
Yeah, you got to give it a bit of commitment there. Come on.
Just feel it over completely.
Give it a bit of welly.
Run your hands over the entirety of the wood.
Okay, so this is the moment where that's not supposed to be the puzzle part. The top of the box is supposed to open.
Hey.
What if you squeeze the sides and then open it? Those weird piddle bottles that kids can't open?
So Cole, is this thing actually stuck?
It's actually
You
stuck.
remember when Marcus
Yeah, you need to get a
specifically-
knife.
Yeah, you might have to get a butter knife.
Okay.
I
She
promise.
just has one.
Just keeps it at her desk like
okay,
a
a fork.
badass.
Hey, like a time.
Oh,
I like
okay.
it.
Okay.
Hey!
Okay.
Tools.
Ah, there we go.
So, okay, hold on.
The accent.
Don't. Is there anything in there? Okay, throw that away.
Oh.
Okay. The box springs open. In the main compartment is nothing.
It's true.
Oh,
Here is the second part of the puzzle.
All right, let's go.
I shook it earlier. There was something in there.
Right, I'm gonna hidden
Anis is correct. You can hear something jostling around, but it is not in the main compartment.
I've just heard Chrissy in real life shaking at me.
Mm.
What's in here?
Can I get a look in there and keep a look over for hidden compartments? Play around, try and poke at the wood on the inside of it, on the floor, see if it's a fake floor or something.
This part is real life. Like what you see in real life, you are
Right,
seeing.
play around, try and find a false
Alright.
floor in there.
Aurora,
Oh wait, something looked like it
See
popped
what
up
we're
off the
looking at.
sides. Wait, didn't it?
You lost. Nope. No, you're good.
She said one of
Hey,
the
look,
metal
look!
things.
One of the metal things is popping up when you popped it open with your left hand. Yeah. What's that do?
This.
Yeah, can you pull it?
Ah.
Is it a key for a
like
different part?
key.
All right. So see if there's a hole somewhere you can stick it in.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, try and stimulate this puzzle.
Baby!
Maybe that's all it needs.
The little
Yeah,
encouragement.
keep trying to pull all those things out or something.
Or maybe you can run that around the edges of the bottom and catch something that a finger
Oh,
couldn't get.
Jesus.
Oh!
All right.
Honest will start clapping.
As you do that, and the secret compartment opens up,
Hi, there we go.
you see inside the secret compartment one of these.
Edison
Oh.
Gold Molded Records.
Molded records.
Echo. All over the world.
What beverage did you ask for, by the way, Duke?
A beer.
Okay, so Marcus is currently going to get Duke a beer.
Great.
Does anyone know what this
Know
is?
This is?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
one of them.
It's a vinyl cylinder.
It's been many years since I've had the pleasure of hearing one.
What is it?
Do we have a phonograph in the house?
Marcus would say yes, but he's away.
Is this
Yeah.
an
Look
old
around.
iPod?
Is there one?
Yeah.
It's a recording.
iPod.
It's played. It's you take a piece of vinyl. It's nice and malleable, but it also retains rigidity. Mark into that small grooves, co-sign into different sound waves. When you play it back by running something like a thin needle over the material, it will vibrate at the same frequency of whatever the sound was when you grooved it in the first place. Vis-a-vis, if we're able to play it back at the same frequency that someone recorded at, hopefully it'll give us a message. In theory.
Master Will, he is correct. I believe these are made of glass. It's the cylinder, so be very careful not to drop it, as it might shatter.
Honest is just staring in awe at William right now.
As is Aurora.
Yeah.
Completely blown away.
Can you roll me a perception check, please, William?
Buy it for
No.
£100.
I can give it a go. I can't make any promises that it's going to be of any use, but that's what I'm here for, looking at stuff and sometimes doing stuff. We might get lucky. I might do both. Perception is... that's a 12.
All right. Well, it's not that hard to see that there is a device on the bookshelf in Sherlock's office that you can pull down and plug this into.
Thank goodness he had the device he wanted us to use in his own office.
Pretty handy.
Oh, could be a reason. Probably because he's sentient or something.
Right, we just put it on and it plays us the.
Are you going
Message?
to
In theory.
play?
Should we listen to it forward before we listen to it backwards, just to be safe, you know?
Why would you just do it backwards first?
Because what if there's no... I don't know.
There we go. I got the one that Cole sent me earlier.
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready to play the recording?
No.
Oh, William, you gotta be a little more
I'm
gentle
careful all
with
the
it.
time. Who do you think I am? Perfect. Antique.
Jeez.
All
Even
right.
less of them now, even worth more money, you see? Investment.
As you plug it in, you hear it start to whir up, and I need everyone to take a listen.
This is a message for the Victorian Paranormal Society. Please listen carefully. I am gravely wounded and stranded in the middle of a forest. I do not have much time, and I'm not sure if I will make it out of here. Do not come looking for me, but no, the beast is coming. Be safe.
Chill. Chill, was that you?
Sherlock's in trouble.
Oh, you fucking kidding me? Sherlock sounds like a fucking ponce.
Honest is gonna sheath back up her greatsword that she just kind of had out in her hand. She's like, let's go find a forest.
Well, isn't the question more of do we listen to Sherlock or ignore him fully?
Why'd you ignore Sherlock?
Honest is gonna just look at Grayson like super confused.
Well,
you good?
No, he
Put your
said
head on,
not to go
right?
looking for him, and you're saying we should go
but
looking
he's
for him.
yeah, but he's in danger, right?
Mate, who do you think's going to pay the mortgage on this place if we let him kick the bucket?
As far as I knew, he was the
Sherlock.
boss.
Sherlock is out there needing my help. I'm gonna go find him.
Right.
My time.
Damned be what he says.
Of course.
Let's go.
Duke will raise a hand and
Boy,
just.
Duke, you don't gotta raise your hand. Just shout it out.
I recognize that I'm amidst proper company. I would hate to intrude, but Sherlock did instruct us that something was coming here. Would it not be better to, stand here and defend as he
Oh,
requested?
you think it's coming here?
That's
Why
isn't that
else
what
would he
said?
tell us?
I guess I assumed it was coming here, like where Sherlock was when he
London.
was speaking.
Ear there
But
rather than
I-
ear.
Like,
Remind me.
I come over here, where I am now.
I hear you, Lady Honest, but might I
You hear him,
suggest?
you hear him.
Well, where was Sherlock last seen?
Yeah, so at this point, when you ask that is when Marcus is returning, and he didn't hear the recording, but he hears the tail end of your question. Oh, yes, Duke. The reason I reached out is Sherlock was last seen in Epping, and I know that you know the area better than most of us.
Yes, I've been conducting some work there recently. I'm quite familiar with the area. Is it safe to assume that we will be needing to go there? I
Apologies, but what was in the box?
and he'll
Is it
gesture to
recording?
everyone else.
Can we
Fancy message?
can we listen to it again?
Hi.
Yeah, why not?
Do what you like, Marcus.
He'll walk over and see that you guys have, brought this down and put this together and play it again.
This is a message for the Victorian Paranormal Society. Please listen carefully. I am gravely wounded and stranded in the middle of a forest. I do not have much time, and I'm not sure if I will make it out of here. Do not come looking for me, but know the beast is coming. Be safe.
Oh dear. That is not good. So, Forest, is there a forest near Epping? You can roll a history check, Duke.
Yes, thank you.
Can I roll a check to notice if
Crit fail. Wait, time out. I have something from Tony. Tony, what did you give me?
+2.
Was it a +2? I thought it was a...
Oh,
let's
advantage.
see.
It is advantage.
All right.
Oh, thank God. Thank you.
+2 to
Tony.
Aurora.
That's still only a 9.
Okay. Very luckily, a 9 does succeed because there is a forest around Epping. And it would be very hard to miss it. So I'm glad that Duke didn't roll a 2 or anything and was oblivious to the fact that there's a forest.
He did just chug a beer, so,
So yes, Duke does know how to get to the Epping forest.
I am familiar with the forest surrounding Epping. There is a dangerous quarry within. I've spent some time amongst those trees myself. I'd be happy to guide whoever needed. And it sounds like with this might be a recovery mission if that audio is to be believed.
I do have a question from what you guys heard from that. At the end, the creature or whatever we heard there, what did that sound like? Because he said a beast was coming from him. We've dealt with a doctor who made beasts and possibly something else. It could be part of that council we've heard about. But to me, it sounded like some sort of, like it sounded human at first and then less human at the end.
Some sort of transformation.
Young man, I believe that those were screams of a human being ripped asunder by some sort of creature.
Oh, Sherlock's not going to die.
Because to me, it sounded like it started Sherlock's voice and then or at least someone's voice and became more beast towards the end, not just human voice or not just growl.
Are you trying to say you think Sherlock's the beast?
He said he was gravely wounded. What if he was infected or something? I don't know.
Infected by what?
I don't know. That's the whole point of this conversation.
Well, here's an idea. Why don't we go to the forest?
Myth, probably, but
well,
Doctor, excuse me for asking, but is this an isolated incident, do you know of, with your work in that area, or have there been tales like this before?
Or are we discussing the condition of lycanthropy? Is that what I'm gathering here?
I believe that is the issue.
Werewolves, actually.
Yeah, well,
same thing, sir. Same one and the same. GM, we can use my history roll. Would Duke have heard of cases of lycanthropy outside of Epping?
So first, to confirm your hunch, can you roll a nature check for me?
Yeah, I can.
going to be hard for Sherlock to deliver a package.
Not
to us
great.
if he's
Duke's
already
not
been
really
to.
holding his own. That's a 4.
Could Aurora possibly help with that since she's been doing a lot of studying about werewolves from
Yeah.
the book that she received?
Anyone can roll. With Duke's roll, since you said it, you fully believe that's what you heard. Is you heard a werewolf. Whether that's true or not, your roll doesn't really state, but it's what you believe. So it works. Aurora, if you want to roll as well, go ahead. Marcus will actually pipe up. This is most concerning. I don't think that was just one person in the recording. I think that was 2, Sherlock and someone else.
You think someone else is with him? Also hurt.
I'm not sure, but it sounds like we shouldn't waste too much time.
I
So
would like to point out somehow the message was sent from that location.
Right.
So that does give us cause for hope.
Yeah, right. And Sherlock's got contacts all around the city. So.
Well,
Oh,
Mar-
and in a puzzle box.
Yeah, he's fine.
so Marcus, you interpreted that as
Sherlock's fine. We just gotta go find him.
you
Help him
interpreted that
out
as
with his little claw problem.
don't listen to Sherlock and save Sherlock, right, Marcus? That's what you're saying.
Well, of
Yes.
course.
Okay.
That man is stubborn. He can be damned. We must
Gotcha.
save him.
Yeah, I was
Hey,
just
Doc, if
afraid
you
because
wanna
I don't
save
know
it,
Sherlock
can.
very well.
Right, well, here's all you need to know. We're going to save him.
Aurora, for your history check, can I actually have you roll again? Because you would have advantage. And don't forget that you're on mute.
Even better, 14 total.
Okay, so you know and remember certain things that you have found that are related to certain creatures, but I will let you talk about that in character. Or do you need?
Actually,
do you-
I'm
do
gonna
you-
need a refresher. If
Okay.
I don't remember.
There's a certain book that you found, and
Yes.
you've been researching certain things.
You're right. Yeah. So I'll pipe up and I'll motion kind of like over my shoulder. Back in my room, I have a book. Actually, I've been doing a lot of research about werewolves and monsters and all of this kind of different stuff. I could go grab that if you want. I have a little bit of knowledge. It might be able to help.
Yeah, we could review on our way there, like worst case, see if it helps at all.
Doing research on
Right.
werewolves.
I
are
like
ya?
that plan. On the way. Let's get going.
Right?
Great. So before you guys leave, did you guys get the potions from Alian and note those down? And is there anything else that you would like to do in the house before you leave?
Duke would want to just go over, have a brief conversation with Marcus. Just kind of catching up a little bit. It's been a while since he's been around. And ask if he's heard of any work that Duke kind of deals with, any opportunities with local authorities. Other than that, he would, just try to catch up with Marcus on what's been going on. And as he leaves, it would be with a firm handshake and a clap on the shoulder. Well, Marcus, it's always a pleasure, and surely we will be meeting again, hopefully sooner than later.
Yes, these are dire times. We have great need for people of your skills. You're always welcome to stay here or to help out.
Understood. I appreciate the offer, and the beer was lovely, Marcus. Have a wonderful evening.
You as well. Please, be safe.
So Aurora is going to head up to her room and grab her short swords and her crossbow and her book and wait by the door.
Joe's already ready to go.
How far is this, do we know, Duke? Do we need a mode of transportation?
Keeper.
So here's a great question that I was going to ask earlier. Al, have you ever been to Epping?
Yes.
How is it lovely?
Yeah, it's delightful. Of course it is. Why would it not be?
Everything is within walking distance. But if you want, you can take a shortcut through the underground and use some of the tubes to get there faster. That's probably not true in real life, but it's true here.
Yeah, you'd be better off walking.
I'd say the faster the better, right?
It's fair.
Because that is something I didn't think to write down, how far it is from London to Epping.
A casual stroll. I know that there are other modes of transportation, but perhaps the air might do us good and free up some thoughts of the mind.
We have enough psychologists here, right? He's up.
Yeah,
Pardon,
I'm sure
I
we've
meant
got-
no offense. Just a simple suggestion, sir.
Right, you need simple tasks.
Chell, if it makes you feel any better, I do more with, you know,
I
the paranormal or the insane. So like, you're probably safe from my prying at least.
fantastic.
I'm
We should
sorry,
still get there faster.
I color me confused. I am not certain, Master Chell, what I've done to offend you so.
You're not fit. Master Chill. Yeah. Simple fucking test. Right. Been around the block. I know what you're on about. I'm watching you. That's all. We're going to save Sherlock. Savvy?
Yes, I've worked with Sherlock for many years.
Good.
I'm sorry. And
Well, say what you
a
do.
massive grin splits his face. I'm sorry, might you just come out with your suspicions then, so we might speak as equals?
Why don't you tell us what you actually do? None of this simple task shit.
Ah, well, I am a bounty hunter, you
Right.
say.
You shoot people and they give you money. Assassin.
The right people for the right coin, yes. This is true.
Right.
Enough. Many years ago, it brought me into contact with Sherlock as our paths often cross, looking for the same kind of folk. But yes, it is true. I bring in those that need be brought in to protect the rest of society. A
Good
choice
to have them on our side.
was made by
Help
them.
us.
I see that you take issue with this, Master Chell.
Yeah, right. No, because, you know, what's to stop you from being paid by other people? Huh?
Oh, well, as you'll see here, and he'll actually reach into his vest and pull out several papers that are signed by local judges. The work itself is only legitimate so long as the proper authorities are involved. I am not a mercenary, sir. A bounty hunter, simply. I only find those that society deems too threatening to be amongst them, and you know, it's a flesh for cash business, but it is not decided by me.
Yeah, so
If you'd
slow,
have
mate.
issue with my work, sir, perhaps you might take it up with your local government.
So just to clarify, real quick here, not to interrupt or anything, because I'd hate to get between this, but you're looking for Sherlock because he's a friend, right? Not because there's a bounty on him.
Correct.
Okay, just double checking.
Sherlock and I have crossed paths many times. You would be surprised.
Marcus, you alright?
Oh, can I insight check that, by the way?
Yeah, Marcus, I mean, you don't... sure, go ahead and insight check. Which part? Because
Insight checking whether or not I trust our new friend.
Okay, go ahead and
Shit,
go ahead
fam.
and do that. I was gonna say it's not hard to tell that Warforged don't need to cough.
But also, Marcus and your homie did just have a full-blown conversation where he was like, "Kiss the wife and kids for me, man." Like as we left, like
I got an 8 with the disadvantage given by Tony, but also, Cole's coughing made me really nervous, so I felt like I had to do it.
You guys are like standing in the doorway, and Marcus is just
I thought we were
coughing.
kind of on the move.
I mean,
Oh, Marcus is coughing? I thought it was Cole coughing. My bad. Let's go.
no. I mean, either way, you hear coughing in your brain. Sherlock is dying somewhere, and Chell's.
I assumed.
trying to leave.
Whoa. I wasn't stopping. I was trying to
Honest
be
has
on the
her
move.
sword.
while we were
She's ready
trying
to
this.
go.
Okay. All right. GM's misunderstanding. Continue your walking.
Don't worry, I've got my blink dagger.
I don't know why we're all suspicious of Duke here. The doc is the one that doesn't seem to want to find Sherlock.
I didn't say I didn't want to find him. I'm saying he didn't seem to want us to find him. I didn't know he was stubborn because we've never met him before.
You just kind of locked onto that point.
Oh,
Oh,
we
I've met him.
him.
Yeah, I think he's wonderful.
You've all met him.
Sherlock's the best.
Yeah.
a friend of many
Sherlock's
years.
the best. And you can tell there's like almost a tone of worship in Honest's
Yeah.
voice.
Don't you speak ill, Mr. Holmes.
Am I the only one who
Maybe-
hasn't met him who works for him and lives in his house?
No,
I see
I ain't never
his
seen
hands.
nor heard of it, but you know, he puts
Okay,
the water in the bath,
at least
I'm
I'm not
happy.
the only one. Oh,
Does the job. I'm
Right.
interested about all this werewolf research that's being done in the house, especially with recent events.
and I'm taking everyone to the underground as we talk about this, just so we are on the move.
I think, sorry, I think everyone decided that they were just gonna walk topside real quick, right?
Yep, and
Oh.
Duke will nod at Chell with the tip of his hat.
Are we actually doing that? Because I googled it and it's 6 hours walking time from London to Epping. It's like 40 minutes if we're driving though.
You take the underground if we're going off of
Okay.
if we're doing real
Long stroll.
if we're doing real life stuff here. Yeah, so you pop into the underground. If there is anything that you want to do, real quick, you can do it here in the underground. If you have any money to buy anything, if you go to the smoothie shop, we'll make
GM,
it.
do I have any money? I have no
Honestly,
money on my sheet.
Anis
I'm level 7.
might not have money. It might be very fitting, unless.
It's pretty touch and go sometimes. I mean, you know, you can't always win at games.
Yeah. So.
Is Anis, is she overlooking, like, taking a gander at it? Like, looking for something? Like, longingly, even?
If there happens to be a magical greatsword or silver bullets for her little revolver, then yes, she would be looking.
Keeper?
So I don't know how this happened, but the image. Oh, I know what happened. I'm dumb. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. So, you're in the underground. Those things are definitely able to be found somewhere. You will likely find the same issue that a certain other someone found when they went searching for items and did not have a lot of gold. A magical greatsword probably costs more gold than anyone currently has, unless they are carrying around the VPS's total treasure fund when they go on the mission. Have you guys assigned someone who is your coffer? That's the correct terminology, right?
I've just been submitting my receipts.
No,
Yeah.
I just know about how much we have. I don't think we assigned anyone.
I don't trust banks.
I assumed Marcus was in charge of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Did we bring Marcus?
No, he stays at home. He's
Marcus, I want to buy it.
he's retired.
I have full.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, Honest is not buying anything. I don't have anything on my sheet, and it's no bother to work it out now, but she's definitely like looking in the windows.
How
Yep.
much would silver with like a silver dagger that was not enchanted cost? You know, just made of silver.
It's probably in the documents. It's
Silver
that
items are very expensive in my
Okay.
experience.
if it was silvered specifically, then yes, it would be more expensive. If you're looking for a basic dagger, you could definitely afford it.
Aurora would be keeping her eye out for the same shop that she found that gave her some information, and with the same shopkeeper, if she could see them.
They currently are not anywhere to be found. The smoothie shop is always around, but we probably don't got time to stop for smoothies if someone
I
is
think-
dying.
If anyone
we're
tries
good.
to stop with
I'm
smoothies,
not-
you're getting an evil eye.
I'm not getting a smoothie.
I think we're A-okay now.
Cool.
If Duke catches Honest kind of lingering at, like whimsically at the weapons in the window, Duke would mention, yes, tools of the trade. Fine craftsmanship there.
Aye. Shiny.
Truly. Dude, I assume that you know how to wield them, and quite well.
She's gonna pull out her great sword and like hold it up for him. I could do with a bit of an upgrade. This wasn't much use against a ghostie that I had to fight once.
Oh, fuck the ghost,
Back
he
in.
says as he walks by.
Well, like I said, I mostly deal in those that are living, but
Same.
patience and talent.
But every
You'll
once
get
in a
there.
while they got a dead wife that's mad at you.
Further
and,
down the hall. Fuck the ghost!
and Duke will smile and kind of kindly escort Miss Honest, as he's referred to her,
Miss.
with great reverence.
Yeah, for weapon talk and things like that, you guys probably have enough in the joint fund. And if you want, we could have said you brought it with you, but it's like 500
No,
gold.
it's fine.
So I figure most of those conversations are usually like a party decision on what to use with that money. Aurora, what did you do with the box and everything? Did you bring it with you or did you leave it?
I assumed I just brought everything with me. I specifically went to my room, though, to get the book and my weapons.
Okay, and you brought the box with you?
Hmm.
Okay. So, as you're kind of carrying it around a little more, you realize that there was a paper that I told you to disregard for a moment. You can go ahead and look at that again. And what you see is inside was something that it looks like Sherlock wanted you to have. Oh, blowing that up doesn't help, so there's that.
Oh, wait, what you got there, Aurora? Got something she'll take.
I'll definitely hand it over to whoever wants to check
This
it out.
looks like those pictures you see on the pyramids. I saw it in
I-
paper once.
Hieroglyphs?
Well, probably.
Isn't it?
So while you guys are checking that out, for those who don't know, basically anything you want exists in the underground. So in the Sherlock campaign, a lot of things are decided and created by players. So anything you want, feel free to ask, and it'll usually be kind of like a GM player back and forth of what exactly it looks like. If you ask for a bunch of magical stuff, it's usually, most people don't have the money on them currently to afford it outright themselves. And the smoothies, while magically delicious, do not give any magical benefits. But if there isn't anything else that anyone would like to do, you reach the other side of the underground and take another tube up to bring you closer to Epping so that it's a nicer little walk. But is there anything anyone else would like?
No, honest is just, I don't know how to read this. Other than there's a bunch of eyes and maybe owls.
Well,
Maybe a crocodile.
it looks like a bunch of the patterns do repeat at least, but
She'll hand it back to Aurora.
I don't know what they mean.
I mean, I'm betting it's just a language, I just don't speak it.
Does anyone know if Sherlock actually spoke this? Because if he didn't, it might mean means something else. Might be able to read it a different way.
Well, let's go find Sherlock, huh? Then we get him to read it.
Miss Aurora,
Yes, sir.
how long have you had this in your possession?
Oh, Marcus handed it to me today.
It's rather curious. I've not seen this in my adventures, though I imagine, knowing Sherlock, that it's quite particular. And if Marcus gave it to you today, and he'll pass it over and kind of like hold her hands, palm them as he passes them over and make eye contact, then you were the one meant to have it.
Oh, nope. I think he came to the house and he just handed it to me. And I've just been holding it, trying to get into it, shaking it a lot. But I can say, if I'm just looking at the paper, some of the designs are repeated, so I'm assuming maybe they stand for letters.
Perhaps.
I mean,
And
you
he'll just
guys
smile.
could try to figure it out yourselves before.
Could I roll something as I was looking it over? I don't know whether I don't know what it would be. Pattern recognition.
Can you remind the stream what your skill is?
Right. All right. I'm gonna look it over, and I'm gonna just kind of whisper out of the side of my mouth. Gran, you got anything for me? Because my barbarian spiritual guardian is my Gran, who also had a touch of the sight, and it runs in the family.
Cool. Go ahead and roll me a history check with advantage.
Right.
Not to ruin anything, but can I cast Comprehend Languages?
Yes, but I don't know if that would work. Well, maybe it will, because what did you roll with advantage?
Gran. I got a 5. So let's see here. Hold on. And a -1, so a 4. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I just need to. She's gonna start jumping in place while she's walking, like gonna try and get herself to rage.
You guys are still in the underground because, okay, last question. No one needs anything here, right?
No, yeah.
Cool.
So you keep asking, so now I'm like, do we need anything here?
No.
Is there something here we're supposed to get, you guys?
No.
Guys.
Like I said, this episode, a lot of it is kind of up to you guys, so I'm just making sure
Okay. I just wanted to make
try
sure
not
that I wasn't just ignoring the DM hints. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know,
nope.
is there like convenient potions sold here?
Yeah.
So,
Just one other thing, GM.
Yes.
Duke would have followed William. Does William stop and look at anything? Or is he just full bore through the...
William stops and looks in a carpenter's window and is looking at similar boxes and kind of novelty artifacts for kind of the amusement of children and things like that. Things that have hidden compartments and sliding doors and things like that. And he's just kind of looking over them to try and see as many tricks and mechanisms and different ways of hiding things as possible.
Again, as we're kind of like shifting, like I imagine that the group is just kind of like floating from booth to booth as we move through. Duke would wander up kind of and speak quietly behind his shoulder. I was impressed with your knowledge of the cylinder. Seems you are a craftsman as well.
No, not a craftsman, mate. But you're around enough people, you see enough things.
Ah, a family business, perhaps.
No, I ain't got none of that. Everything I've made myself, and it's hard enough as it is.
Well, it seems that you have a decent enough group here to be amongst.
They do the job.
Well, either way, I think there's more to you than meets the eye, and I look forward to working with you, sir. He puts his hand out.
Seems we're in a fairly similar line of work, so hopefully this all pans out for the best, eh?
Ah, I certainly hope so.
Hyacinth. This is technically a language, but this is one of those hard spots.
It does. So I'm assuming it's a puzzle, but the language isn't the part of the puzzle we're supposed to focus on. So while it might help, it might not do what we need it to.
Is everything a puzzle though? Is
Yes.
it? Oh, okay. Good. No, I'll write that down in my GM notes.
As someone who's
First,
supposed to be smart right now, everything is a challenge.
yeah. First for Anis. Are we going with Honest or Anis? Is Honest a Duke quirk or? Because now I'm confused.
Honest.
It's
Her name is
honest.
Honest. Pronounced like
'Kay.
honest.
Honest. There we go. I will correct
Honest.
that. See, people say Alien's name wrong, and then it switches me up. So now I'm just switched up on everyone's name. Anyways, an aside.
Alan.
I mean, she'd answer to either. Really.
As you're trying to reach out, you kind of hear static. The reception down here is terrible, but you guys end up at the bottom of a tube and shoot yourselves up. For those who missed the episode that has more of the reveal of the underground, there is a magical city underneath London where everyone who casts magic goes to do just that and to be open and to be free, because topside magic is not really allowed. So as you guys shoot back up, Hyacinth, can you read me comprehend languages?
Yep.
So I can make a decision?
For the duration, you understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that you hear. You also understand any written language that you see, but you must be touching the surface on which the words are written. It takes about a minute to read a page of text. It doesn't decode secret messages in a text or glyph, such as arcane sigil, that isn't part of a written language.
Cool. So I would say that while you can probably understand this, at the same time it makes no sense to you. It's talking about something that you're not really familiar with. But you and Honest together, if you guys want to re-roll, both of you re-roll a history at the same time,
Alright.
now that you're topside, and see what happens.
Grant, you're not helping today.
12.
I rolled a 10 with a -1, so that's
Alright.
a 9.
Rolled
Well,
an 8 plus 4.
the two of
All
you,
just pictures.
yeah, you were correct. Your dice are not a fan of you, Luca, but
They hate me.
the two of you kind of working together and talking while you walk, and you kind of understanding what the symbols might mean and everything, and Honest kind of trying to reach out, you realize that this is referencing the Book of the Dead.
Oh. Yes.
Oh, what?
The book of the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian, the book that the dead that I think Thoth held it.
That's cleared it up.
Like obituaries. Like a Book of the Dead.
Sorry, is Sherlock in there?
I don't think he's in it.
Oh, then I don't give a
No, he
shit. Let's
better
go.
not be.
But Sherlock
on,
gave it
come
to
on.
us, so wouldn't
Let's
it?
keep moving. Let's keep moving.
No, we're still
Very to
walking.
the
We're just
point,
thinking
Master
while
Chow.
walking.
Very to the point.
Yes, so
Onward and upward.
you guys make your way. Do you stop in the beautiful city of or town of Epping before you enter the forest? Anyone want to stop for maybe a nice coffee or anything?
Any little bakeries with cinnamon rolls or
Anything
all-
that
did-
strikes.
nice looking pastry.
oh,
Let's just
did-
take a nice little side
Well,
Side mission.
Oh,
We
let's
get
have a nice
snack.
picnic while we're here too. Oh, Sherlock, you're
No,
getting
we're
ripped
going.
apart. It's
We're
fine.
going straight into the forest.
All
well,
right.
should we look for anything that feels like it relates to this note, Book of the Dead page you sent us, or are we
In
just
Eppin.
ignoring this note? Yeah.
Fortunately, Epping does
doubt
famously have a
it.
sphinx in it, so yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, they got a pyramid right there behind that
Yeah.
pub.
Well, why would you find the answers in a pyramid?
Pop
That
on
doesn't make
over.
sense.
Better idea. Let's go into the forest and do our fucking job. Save Mr. Holmes. How about that?
All right. So
Right on.
you guys enter the forest. You enter what feels like a magical land. Really, lately, you guys have been more used to the city life, the rain, the fog, a lot of hustle and bustle, a lot of noise, and for a moment, you smell the freshest air you've smelled in a long time. It's nice, cool breeze, and there's just utter silence besides someone typing in the background. And it's just very, very peaceful. And on that note, as you enter the forest, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sherlock Investigations, the case of the missing Holmes. If you were here for the start of the mission, you might have realized I did not give you trigger warnings. That is because this episode actually doesn't really have any, except for blood. This episode is a very curious one, of course, and we will see where the players take it. Currently, they have just entered the Epping Forest, and they are free to walk through the forest.
Chill, not to slow us down, but I just had a new idea. So you keep walking, but I'm gonna talk while we walk. This hint he gave us relates to the Book of Dead. Maybe it's not a hint like to find or solve something. Maybe it's a hint for what's to come. Maybe it's not a werewolf like we've been assuming, and it's instead something related to this, like something that would relate to the Book of Dead, like Egyptian or zombie or mummy, something undead from,
Right. Well, we find Mr. Holmes, we find out. It's all I really care about, honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
Look, you can talk to William and Roy. They know more about all the monster shit than I do. I'm just here for Holmes.
And then for walking in the forest, you'll actually need to walk and let me know where you want to go.
I think we're heading up to the fork now.
GM, with Duke kind of being somewhat familiar with the area, I think he would have tried to take a look around and see. I mean, it's been a while since Sherlock's been through here, but trying to get an understanding of. I mean, it's a massive forest. I think he would try to be like, where would the most traffic be? And I think he'd actually turn to the party and say, I'm not sure where to begin, as this is quite a massive forest, but might you educate me? Do we know why Sherlock was here?
I don't know why he would have been here, but I am a little familiar with getting around in this terrain. It's my favorite terrain.
Oh, you grew up in the woods then? Is that to be understood?
Not quite. I
Fair
just am
enough.
familiar with the outdoors. So I could attempt to do some sort of investigation or whatever we could try to do
As
to
I
see if
said,
we could find him.
it's been a while since I was around Sherlock, and if you lovely folks have known him longer, I think that would be best.
Yeah, so I would like to just do a general, however you would like me to roll it, DM, to see if I can see any hints, knowing Sherlock, that he would leave probably some sort of hint or clue or something to kind of maybe point us in a direction to something relevant, whether it's him or not.
Go ahead and roll a... You can roll an investigation. Yeah.
Am I able to use my Ranger's Primeval Awareness to add any assistance to that?
Sure. Go ahead.
Our modest fellowship expands. Praise the sun.
15 total.
So you start looking around the forest floor and looking for any signs of, Sherlock, any clues, breadcrumbs, etc. And don't see anything. You don't even see any footprints.
Aurora will turn to William and just kind of like, I got nothing.
No, I can't see no trace of anything coming through here.
After
Right,
failing,
well, he said the middle of the forest. Do we know which way that is?
Keeper, I assume that Duke would know, but I'm happy to roll whatever you need me to.
Yeah, so I feel like Honest and Duke would think that they should know, but the moment that they start to look around, you're very lost. Nothing is recognizable. Even if you once knew the layout of this forest, you currently have no idea. There is a fork in front of you, though.
Oh, growing up in the Highlands, kind of know my way around the land. There's something weird about this land. And mechanically, I have an Outlander background, and I still can't find my way around here.
Right. I think Duke would look left and right and say, well, this explains the trouble with my latest target, and why my contacts seem to not be able to ascertain his location. Perhaps we just flip a coin then, leave it up to luck. Might be
That's a
interesting.
good idea. He gotta wait, and she's gonna just take out her great sword, hold it in front of her, close her eyes. Someone spin me around, and I'll just start walking.
would we like a bit of an aerial view?
Shell will start spinning her around.
Doctor, if you think that would assist,
Easy,
I don't
easy.
see why not.
I will reach into my messenger bag on my side and pull out my kitten and send my familiar into the sky and look through its eyes. Just look for anything out of those sorts.
All right, very, very interesting. While Honest is spinning around, real
Rachel, I think
Yeah,
we're
what?
good.
Yeah, sure, alright, stop.
as she lands, facing. Am I picking which way you're facing, or?
I don't even know. I'm literally putting out a foot, stepping, and then just like, all right, wherever I'm going, just follow me.
All right, so Honest is facing to the right, but your familiar, as soon as it reaches above the tree line, you can no longer see through its eyes.
Oh. I lost connection with it.
So what
Can I
you're
s-
telling
if
me
I
is
look
you-
up, can I see the cat, or is it like gone?
You cannot see it.
What you're telling me is that you cannot hear it now? Is that...
I was looking through its eyes and I can't see anymore.
Then it seems that Miss Honest's technique might be the thing that sees
Just
us
marching
through.
off.
Yeah,
in this
Shell's following
direction.
him.
Yeah.
Following.
Yeah. So as you start to walk to the right, you hear something screaming, falling through the sky, and landing in front of you, smashing into the ground is your familiar. How much health does it have?
Awesome.
5.
It dies on impact.
I mean, it poofs into non-existence, but
Yeah,
it's not a. The. Oh, did you do that? I hated that.
It was just perfect timing.
Oh my god.
Why are we laughing? Anyways, are you guys walking right?
Yeah. What other option do we have?
All right. So
County
I
Boy
feel like that
Magic
might have been a
Brigade
bad
failed.
omen to the right. But
all right. You go to the right and you keep walking, and let me move you over to the next section of forest. All right, you are there.
Duke would kind of press forward.
Mm-hmm.
is it just me or does it look the same?
Well, it's
Well-
woods, isn't it?
Well, but it's another fork in the road that looks very similar.
All right. Here
Doctor,
we
I
go.
must
Yep.
I must ask,
Spin,
how
spin,
many
spin, 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 spin,
forests
spin,
have
spin,
you
spin,
been
spin.
in?
Well, I am a druid.
So I watched the hands.
That's
I'm
my-
really watching my
that's my
hands are
question.
perfectly fine.
If this seems unusual or unfamiliar, I would lean into your expertise, sir.
It feels unnatural, at least. We can't get above tree line without getting shot back down and losing contact, and we can't tell which way to go. And we feel like we're looking at the same thing. If something's happening here.
Master William, you have been quiet for some time. Do you have any insight?
Place is strange. Usually, the forest is full of life, creatures, regardless, big or small, humans, beasts, animals, woodland creatures, birds. This place seems to be totally silent. There's nothing here. No tracks, no trace, no life, except for the trees. Does that not strike you as unnatural?
Speaking of the trees, would we like to see if they have any idea what's happening?
By all means, I would lean again, Doctor, to your area of expertise.
Either Luca or Turk, whoever's deciding the spin. Do you want to roll a d4?
For it, yeah.
You want to do it since you're the one spinning me?
Sure. All right. Ooh. 1.
Great. Honest lands pointing to the left.
All right. This way.
Good. We're going.
Yep. So you start heading to the left before you make it to the end of the fork. Hyacinth, are you casting a spell?
I will wait till the next fork to do it, but yes, I will. I'm going to cast Speak with Plants to a tree.
What do you mean the next fork?
Well, since they were moving without me, I'm gonna wait till we stop at the next area and do it.
All right. So everyone heads off to the left. Let me go ahead and drag you over to the next map real quick. Just give me a second. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll do it now. I was just trying to pace myself with this.
Wait. Can we? Did you set up multiple pages with just this?
I don't
Rather
know.
than just resetting us all down, because that's. Oh.
At this point, I will cast Speak with Plants and talk to a tree.
All right. Can you read me Speak with Plants, please?
Yes, sir.
I know I should know this because I played Tell, but this isn't a normal campaign, so I gotta judge it after hearing it out loud.
Let me just find it in my list.
Because I believe there's some caveats to this.
Oh, I hope there aren't caveats. I thought it was pretty self-explanatory. You imbue plants within 30 feet of you with limited sentience and animation, giving them the ability to communicate to you and follow simple commands. You can question plants about events in the spell's area within the past day, gaining information about creatures that have passed, weather, and other circumstances. You can also turn difficult terrain caused by plant growth, such as thickets and undergrowth, into ordinary terrain for the duration, or you can turn ordinary terrain into difficult terrain for the duration. Plants may be able to perform tasks on your behalf at the DM's discretion. It does not enable plants to uproot themselves and move about, but they can freely move branches, tendrils, stalks. If a plant creature is in the area, you can communicate with it through a shared common language, but gain no magical ability to influence it. It can cause plants created by entangle to release a restrained creature.
Yep, okay. Yep, the first part is the most important part. So, you don't really do it with just a tree. but you can kind of call out to the plants in a 30-foot radius. If you want to stand in front of a tree specifically and then cast it, you can do that. What are you asking them?
I'm gonna say, hello there, as I approach just a tree or approach in a direction and see who responds. Have you seen a man pass through here recently?
So the second you cast the spell and start talking to the plants, you actually just start hearing like the worst like hissing sound in your ears. It just sounds like the plants are screaming at you. And this is not a concentration spell, is it?
It is not.
Oof. How do you stop a spell that's not concentration if you no longer want it to happen?
I don't know.
That's
Doesn't you just end it?
Well, usually with concentration, right, you would just stop concentration. But if there's no concentration, does it just last for 10 minutes even if you don't?
I guess so.
You just activate it and then.
That's a
Am I stuck listening to it for 10 minutes?
Well,
Give him psychic damage.
in this area, that's what's gonna happen. The plants
I
and
wanna see you
life.
just turn it off though.
That's what I thought, but it's not concentration, so it's not like that.
It doesn't say you can end it in it.
Yeah. Because if it was concentration, that'd be easy. I just drop concentration. But if it's a spell where you cast it and the effects just come about and last 10 minutes. All right, I'm going to roll a decision.
I like that.
I have a fix for it. I have a fix for it in case of emergency.
Okay, well, they are screaming at you, and in between the screams, it's really starting to hurt your head. You just hear, leave! Leave!
Are they pained or just like screaming?
Screaming in pain?
I'm going to... So is it causing me pain or...
Yeah, it will if you keep hearing it.
They're in
Cat
pain.
says just leave the 30-foot area.
Oh. Because I can... Or is it 30 foot around me? If it's cast on self, I am the 30-foot area. Yeah, I am the 30-foot radius. It's around me, not 30 foot on the ground. So, they're screaming. They want us to leave. They're in pain. And I'm going to open my bag and just reach in and jump into my bag of holding if I can.
What?
I'm going to be like, pull me out! And I'm going to jump in to try to end it.
All right. Another one. Has anyone ever jumped into a bag of holding?
I thought they had a certain volume.
I've put someone in it before.
Can't hold people.
Yeah.
You only
it's
have up
only
to
so
the amount of
much
breath
air.
you can hold.
Yeah.
They can definitely hold people, but there's not oxygen actively in there. So it's like suffocating unless you're holding your breath.
So I'm just trying to get it to end or go to another plane so it ends. And then I want someone to pull me out with the...
All right. Is someone picking up the bag of holding as he just zooms inside and it drops on the ground?
I mean, I feel like I'm.
Yeah, the idiot squad's already.
Yeah.
We're doing spins.
The dizzy squad's on their way marching through the forest. So.
The dizzy duo.
Yeah, Duke kind of already moved up the path, trying to like.
So Niffer said there's 10 minutes of air in there. I don't know if that's correct, but she said she's done it and it's 10 minutes of air, or they said it.
I just need to know who's carrying the bag. That's my most important question for now.
Not Duke is my point. Duke would have moved forward, and I think he would have leaned down and kind of picked up some dirt in his hand and like moved it through his fingers. And what kind of fey oddity is this?
Aurora will pick up the bag.
Okay, cool.
And, unhappily, because she wasn't intending on having a bag. She brought swords and a crossbow, but she will heave it over her shoulder.
All right. So you're at the fork again.
Keeper, can Can I
Round and
roll?
round, and it goes, there we go. Hopefully towards
As we keep kind of going through this over and over
We're
again,
gonna find him.
better fucking
I
find
think-
them. I'll be real fucking pissed.
Duke would try to make sure that this isn't the same kind of fork, or like he's trying to figure out, given his pact, and his interest in things of, you know, a trickier nature, he wants to try and get the sense of like, is this a fae trick?
It has the feeling of something like that. To answer your first question, this is the exact same each time.
It's been the same case.
Yep, much like you're seeing on Roll20, it is the exact same. It's very obvious by now that there's some kind of trickery at hand. Whether it's someone putting like a specific spell on this area, or like some kind of creature looming around doing it, you're not quite sure.
Alright, I assume I found a new direction.
Did you do the spinning again?
And this time when I start off, I'm gonna... Alright, this direction, I just went Barovian there for a minute. And I'm gonna take out my sword, and I'm gonna just do a big X in the dirt with my great sword, and then clean it off and put it back in. Alright. Let's go. And go off again.
So, do you guys want to decide which one you're taking this time, based on what, or left or right?
We'll go right.
Okay. To deal with the person in a bag of holding, what's your con?
I did look it up, and it says 10 minutes of air divided by the number of creatures, plus my con plus 1. A minute plus my con. So I have 10 minutes at the minimum, plus my con.
No.
It's in the equipment.
Okay,
item.
yeah, because you have 10 minutes and then you can hold your breath
Yes.
after the
And
10
my
minutes.
con is plus
Yep.
2, and I have 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. Is everyone following everyone to the right?
Yeah. I think Duke would again kind of turn to William. It seems we might be dealing with some sort of, well, fae presence. I know they are rather fond of their puzzles and tricks.
Yeah, I've seen something wobbly in the air. Something ain't right.
You wouldn't happen to have anything that might disenchant, dispel? I know that magic users are far and few, but does not hurt to ask.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, I know a couple of tricks, but how useful it's going to be here, I'm not entirely sure. And I've got a bit of a sense for creatures. And I'll use my primeval awareness that is as an action. I can expend a ranger spell slot to sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragon elements, fae, fiends, or undead are present within a mile of our location.
Can you give me the type of creatures again real quick?
Yep. Aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead.
Yeah, so the forest is definitely full of undead. If you're just sensing that, you can definitely sense something floating around the trees. But as everyone was walking and talking, you guys are checking things out, and you walk forward, and you take the right path, and moved you over to the new map. There you are.
You're right.
So even when you reach the new section of the forest, you still do feel this, but at the same time, you don't feel threatened currently by what's floating around in the trees. At this moment, I need everyone to roll an investigation check real quick. And Honest and William would have advantage here, actually.
Don't worry, I will make
critted,
one.
So
I love how your
Just
crit is
stick
19,
with that.
though.
I know.
I did not crit, and I do have a 19.
Okay,
Smart boy squad.
cool. So, William, what you feel is if there are things in the trees in each area, every time that you kind of do this loop, you sense a direction where they are not. Honest, you feel like doing what you think you should do is incorrect. And Duke, you have that same feeling. And that's it.
All right. I think we should try to not find Sherlock. And she's gonna look at Jill. Now, stick with me here. I think the forest doesn't want us to find Sherlock, and so we gotta trick it.
We've got to try
So-
and leave.
I'm not trying. She's just gonna start speaking really loud. I'm not trying to find that Mr. Sherlock. In fact, I'm gonna go off and have myself a picnic. Who's coming with me? And she's just gonna
Yeah.
start walking off into the tree line. Let's find a nice spot for a picnic. Not trying to
Yeah.
find anyone. Let's abandon
Fuck
this
Mr.
stupid
Holmes.
mission. Why?
Fuck 'em.
Ah.
Never did nothing for me
I
anyway.
will,
Picnics.
A little too far.
Which way do you walk?
I am just heading off into the tree line, like straight to the right here. I'm gonna find a nice spot for a picnic. We're gonna sit down. We're not gonna try and find anybody. I'm gonna kick up my boots. We're gonna just relax under the tree line. And she's gonna just lay under a tree and kind of cozy up on the side of it and like look up at the leaves and just, it's just nice and relaxing. No need to find anybody.
What about everybody else? What are you guys doing?
Duke would go to the fork in the road and kind of look back to anybody who'd be willing to kind of go, maybe looking at Aurora and tilting his head to kind of follow. Just or Rory and Willie. Oh my gosh, Aurora and William. And see if they're willing to go.
So Aurora would kind of like grab the bag over her, and she would probably turn to look at William to see where William was going and say, I mean, I don't know who at this point to listen to. I don't like the idea of leaving people, but
Listen, there's something in here. I can sense it. There's something's not right, but there is a way through this.
I
It'll
think
take
that
all of us. But we need to find that direction.
I
Perhaps
believe
this clever bollocks over here is the answer.
Miss Honest does have a clever approach. However, I do think that just staying in one spot might not be the answer. It might be that we simply need to, seek something else entirely. I do have, as I mentioned before, I was here in Epping trying to ascertain the location of an individual to no success, though now I feel like it was due to me missing this particular information. Perhaps we might try seeking another quarry.
Aurora will kind of like shrug looking at William and start walking with Duke, and as she's walking that direction, she's just going to keep an eye out to see if like Annis's like she like did something in the sand or the dirt, like an X or something. Yeah. and I'll try to see if I can notice that. But I'm still gonna go because I don't particularly think staying still is a good idea either.
William's going to watch Aurora walk away and look back at Anis, kind of slumped under a tree, no cares in the world, looking up at the leaves, picking up bugs off the ground, saying hello to spiders and woodlice.
Honest, I don't
And
think
look
it's
back at
working.
Aurora, and he's going to cast protection from evil and good on Aurora, and then follow along after.
Cool. So, just to be clear, I need to know which way you are walking when you do this. So are you changing your intentions but taking the right path? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think changing intentions, and Duke would go left.
Okay. All right. So as the party walks to the left.
Not the whole party.
Ooh, only Duke. All right. As anyone.
Duke, Aurora, and
Duke,
William.
Aurora,
I believe.
and...
Yeah. Sorry. That's what I meant. I meant.
Gotcha.
And I am also carrying Gray.
Yes. For the sake of being a nice and benevolent GM, I will let Gray climb out himself on the next map. But as a small part of the party goes to the left, let me put you all on the new map real quick, as you all appear right here.
All right, didn't work. All right, I got one more idea. I'm gonna look around. I'm looking for a forest. And she's just gonna look around at the trees, just daring them to disappear. Does anything happen?
Nothing happens.
She's like, all right then. I'm not looking for anybody. And she's gonna turn around and walk back the way they came.
All right. So as you walk back, let me put you on the new map.
Yes.
All right. So you reach a part of the forest you've never seen before. In front of you is a trail.
She's really pleased with herself. She's gonna pull out her Sherlock clues notebook. And be like, looking at Gray. Sherlock.
Wait! I crawl out of the bag myself. Wait, where are we? As I finish crawling out the bag. Sorry about that. Very painful.
No worries. Hold up. Okay, give me a second. So you reach a new part of the forest that you've never seen before. Unfortunately, right in front of you is a trail of blood. It looks like something has been drug across the forest floor, and a huge amount of blood has rested on this log here. Before we go any further, we are going to take another just real quick break, probably a little shorter here, and we will be right back. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sherlock Investigations. So, players, you defeated the forest and have made it into the more kind of dense area off the beaten path. There's very obviously a trail of blood leading up to this log right here. What do you guys do?
I do have an idea. Sorry to just climb out of the bag and have an input. And sorry, they were screaming at me. It was painful. I had to get away from it. But I can analyze the blood if we think that might be helpful.
Didn't I know anything you just said about the screaming? But yeah, go ahead.
And I will walk up to the blood spatter and cast Analyze Blood at 4th level. Which, do you want me to read it?
Sure, go ahead.
You read the necromantic energy trapped in blood like a book. You immediately learn whether you've analyzed it from this creature before and the last time. You may only use the blood from a single creature for the material component. Information is mingled. Mingled blood is too muddied to be used. And higher the spell, more I've learned. So first, I know if I analyzed it before. Second level, I know the creature who shed the blood's type: monstrosity, undead, human. Third, you know if the blood carries any diseases or poisons. You also know if it's acceptable for transfusion. Fourth, I know whether the creature's blood is still alive, and that's what I cast it up to.
Ooh, you did the 4th level?
Yep.
It is human blood. I'm gonna say that there aren't any diseases in the blood, and human, no diseases, still alive.
So, if we're assuming this is his, which I don't know because I've never seen his blood before, he is alive. This creature is alive.
Hey, Sherlock, you can hear people talking on the other side of the log as you lay there bleeding out.
You're here to kill me, you'll have to do a bit better.
Oh,
Sherlock, is that you, old friend?
Oh God, I really called out all the stops. Duke!
And Duke will start shouldering through the brush towards the voice with a sense of urgency. I tell you, Sherlock, you really have a way of... Oh, God. Ah.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, well, did you look at what the hell have you done to yourself, man? And
Oh, I didn't do any of this. Don't be ridiculous.
he'll lean down and...
Sherlock!
Oh,
Try to-
hello, Annette.
Careful, Miss Honest. Perhaps one of our troop. Does the doctor know healing magic by chance? It seems there's quite a bit of blood here. Oh,
Which doctor? Oh, sorry. Yes, Grayson. Oh, don't believe we've been properly introduced.
no. What do you need? Just healing, or are you what happened?
if you could stop the bleeding, doctor, I think
I
that
would
would
greatly
be
appreciate.
ideal.
I've made some attempts at staunching the blood and stopping some, but I believe there is some internal damage that will require more advanced tools. But
I'll do a second level cure wounds. I was just, trying to figure out more of the situation. Let me cast it.
I'd be happy to fill you in, but I am not being quite literally spilling my guts out.
So are you healing, Sherlock?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm casting second level cure wounds. I'm just trying to roll it in chat. It does
Okay.
not want to.
Duke will kind of gently rest his hand like a couple times, like pat on Sherlock's shoulder as he takes a gander around at the scene.
It's a wolfman, Shocks. I tracked him out here, but I found him, as I am wont to do.
That's 13 points of healing. I rolled poorly.
I'm sure it helps Sherlock as he feels the cure wounds kind of tighten up some of his, open gashes and whatnot.
Duke will look at Aurora and motion over with a couple of fingers. A wolfman, you say? I understand this young woman here has some information that might be pertain to that if you'd like to speak directly with her. And he'll just kind of
Hello, Aurora.
help Sherlock kind of sit up, very Dr. Watson to his
Yes,
Sherlock
thank you.
in the
Thank
moment.
you very much, Shocks. Aurora, it's good to see you again.
Oh,
Apologies
good to see you.
for my absence.
As she's walking over, she's definitely going to be looking around to see if anything is watching or just to keep an eye on anything.
I haven't made heads. I haven't heard him around or any of his associates. He's not working alone. Not sure exactly, but I got the message out to you all, and I am ever so glad you chose to disobey commands.
So she
see.
will sit down with Sherlock and say, we've been seeing a lot of these recently. I was given a book about them. What brought you out here?
Well, the Wolfman, of course. Who are you? Finding him is, of course, critical to the case. Causing trouble here, and thought I would solve it, and I was not prepared. as you can see, but I'm quickly recovering, and now with our renewed numbers, well, we might stand a chance.
You should have called me sooner, old friend.
Well, I would hate to impede your other investigations, and at the moment, I wasn't sure. It's one thing to be caught by a wolfman, entirely different to be caught by wolfmen and allies. So...
Allies.
Who were the allies? Yeah.
I was about to say, it must have been quite the wolfman to get you, Mr. Sherlock.
Yes, well, he had the benefit of the knowledge I was there, not something I typically give those I'm pursuing.
Point me in the direction of these scunners. I'll take care of them.
Unfortunately, they are more equipped for these woods than I am, or I believe any of us are. We'll do what we can. I've led quite a bit, chosen not to clean up my trail to see if I can lure him back here for a final stand, but I wasn't aware of who he was speaking to. All I know is that he was communicating with someone, and then he was alerted to me, disappeared, and got the better of me. I was a bit sloppy.
I'm sorry, did you say he was allergic to you?
Alerted.
Alerted.
Oh, okay.
Alerted, sorry.
I heard
Okay, I'm
allergic
sorry.
to Luca.
I was very
He
confused.
started sneezing. I think it might have been my snuff box.
Sorry.
These werewolves, yes. I was obviously carrying a bit of silver, but he might have also thrown a bit more alert onto his side, so apologies.
Was there only the one, Holmes?
Well, as far as I'm aware, yes, but as I said, he had the benefit of assistance.
Well,
I'm not sure if he will... Oh, please. I'm not sure if he will continue pity, of course, but...
Mr. Holmes, can you stand, or do you need more medicine healing
with you,
for crutch?
you have helped plenty. Also, Shell, my good boy, please help me. I would hate to impede the rest of you, and I know Shell will do just fine with one arm. Isn't that right, Shell?
Do they look similar?
No.
Shulks would offer help.
Yeah,
Holmes
initially,
up
he will definitely take that.
with a firm handshake and pass him over to Chell. And to Chell, he'd just give a little head, not I'm cool, bro. Kind of
well,
number.
speaking you talk to Mr. Holmes, you kind of all right.
Oh, I'll hand my walking cane to Mr. Holmes, if that helps.
Thank you. I'll
And
lean
then
on this
Shulks-
then.
Was he
Shulks
bit?
would move to stand next to William. Go ahead.
Was I? As far as I'm aware, I did not suffer the effects of lycanthropy. I feel I would have been showing more symptoms.
He seems to be poison-free at the moment, if that relates.
Precisely. And also very good to know.
Poison and disease, yeah.
Yes.
And alive.
And
Don't forget that part.
quite.
The box.
All
You'll-
right, Mr.
William-
Sherlock.
Yes, Anis.
Where are these allies that betrayed you?
Well, they didn't betray me. They aided the wolfman.
Ah,
Yes.
allies of the werewolf.
Yes, which is surprising, given werewolves' common dispensation to be solitary.
Oh, she tries.
But again, I thought I would leave a bit of a temptation for him, seeing as I was wounded, and then surprise him. But it found me first.
Would you prefer we put you down and
No,
bait him?
at this point, the trap is quite sprung.
Because honestly, I was confused when you told us not to come find you, because...
Oh yes, I mean, the plan was to keep you all safe of harm. If it was my mistake, I would clean up after it. But now the plans have changed. Not
All
for this.
right. What's
Just
the plan?
Just wanted to make sure I didn't misinterpret it or anything,
No, you're quite fine, Doctor. Well, the situation, of course, can be we continue to use the bait I've laid here. We can attempt to navigate these woods, though that is obviously, as my good man Shulks here can attest, quite
It's just
difficult.
easy. You just tell the woods that you're not interested and you try and leave, and then they'll let you go where you want.
Interesting. I didn't
It's that reverse psychology that everyone likes to talk about.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes, do you know why
I call it fluff.
the trees were in pain?
The trees were in pain. What were they saying to?
Well, they said leave, but they sounded very in pain when they said it.
And how did you manage to come to this clearing?
We left. We turned around. But they're also in pain is the part I'm focusing on, not just the leave.
Well, there is a good degree of
Saying
magic.
you had a clue and you did not tell us.
Well, I said what they said, and I jumped in the bag.
All I heard was you there screaming, and then you disappeared into your little knapsack.
Well, it was very painful. I had very little time to react, okay?
If I could, the
I believe you refer to it as the pain purse, but
yes,
no, it is.
Duke will shoulder William when he says that and let out a hearty chuckle.
if we could, Mr. William, Miss Aurora, you two have been studying the lycanthrope a bit more in detail. This Pate obviously didn't pay him any mind. He's too well aware of myself. Gave him a good thrashing and got that page out. But beyond that, I am fortunately only so researched, and I'm afraid I'm being outwitted.
So you
got that
pulled
page out.
the
Do you
Book of
mean-
the Dead, the page from the Book of the Dead from the werewolf?
Well, it fell off of his person. Not the entire book. I didn't.
Yeah, it's a page from the Book of the Dead, yes.
I'm not sure exactly why, but it came off of him. I felt it might be important.
Are they researching stronger magics? Or do you know if they're linked to the council?
That is an interesting note. We'll have to consider it further, but at the moment, I think we should focus our efforts on the immediate threat. Even now speaking, it may attempt to surprise us, though we have the numbers here. It may be best to attempt to disguise ourselves and move in small groups to give the attempted image of advantage back to it, to lure it back in with fresh faces.
Did you say lure?
Disguise is what?
Well, disguise our numbers, split us apart, but not so far as we would not be able to quickly react to any new stimuli.
Were they wolf or human when you left?
Well, they were a wolf man,
'Cause
so it's a bit of a blend of the two.
Wolves like rabbits, right?
I've
I've got a bad idea.
It depends on the species of wolf. The Vulpin family is widespread across Europe, and they all hunt various. You're a point, however.
I could turn into a rabbit, and maybe would that lay more of a trap than a human, or?
I believe it's a classic misunderstanding. The Wolfman is, while possessing qualities of a wolf, not so set in its mind. It is a combination. It contains the mind of a man and all of its upper facilities, while possessing the strengths and advantages of a half-were creature. We will not be attempting to lure a wolf. We'll be attempting to lure a killer.
All right. It's Corey as other humans, not bunny or rabbits.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was wolf person or wolf person, you know.
Wolf.
I
yes.
don't.
Yes.
Wolf man.
Too much time in the books. Wrong books.
Yes, Schultz.
I would just like to sum up your plan. You're saying that we disperse ourselves through these woods in an attempt to lure this individual here. Once you've properly identified our target and marked it that you're positive that's your target, that we will then engage. However, I must ask, why this person? Why here? Why now? Why did you not inform your members that you were coming here? This is highly unusual, Holmes.
The Victorian Paranormal Society is a wide net across London to keep the entire city and indeed the entire country at large safer. To dedicate our focus entirely on one point is counterproductive and counterintuitive to the entire creation of it. But so I assumed that I would be able to quickly get the drop on this creature and dispatch it quite easily. I was sure of my own capabilities. However, I was not expecting this strange new ally to appear. Things are clearly becoming more interconnected than I initially suspected. I thought this was another case of a unfortunate curse of lycanthropy. It seems it's a bit deeper than that. But yes.
Two more questions, Holmes.
Of course.
If you would allow that to an old friend.
Naturally.
Is it incumbent upon us to end this person? Is this a wanted dead situation? Or are we attempting to... is there further information to gather from them?
Well, I believe we should take every means to subdue the individual and draw answers from him. I doubt it will be made simple. This is a lycanthropic individual. Their control may very well slip in the frenzy of the fight. We should be prepared for the situation to become less diplomatic as we go on. And, well, you will not find any official legal records of this person's death. The benefit of their transformation as they have been able to commit their murders via their persona. It's a tactic that uniquely the Victorian Paranormal Society is fit to fill out. I'm very glad you were contacted to come in, though. But I would, again, if we can get answers and draw it from them, it would be best. However, I do not wish to put anyone else in danger.
Upon that response, Shulks will turn to the rest of the party. As I mentioned before, I do have a particular line of work, bringing individuals into custody, both dead and alive. It sounds that it might behoove us to try the alive option first. Might you, my new friends, allow me to attempt to bind this person before we attempt any lethal action?
I'll try my best. Use the flat of me sword if it comes to it.
Aurora will just look around and be very confused and concerned, because this is all very connecting now for her, and she's like, sure.
Miss Aurora, your face, are you sure? I would hate to put you in a position in which you are uncomfortable.
Well, I just, I'll follow the direction, but if it gets to be too much, I just don't know that we can continue to have these things happen, that's all.
Which things in particular? The attempts at diplomacy with paranormal creatures, or?
Well, it just seems like it's every time we're always dealing with something, and it feels like we just need to get rid of whatever's making it happen.
My dear Aurora, by treating the symptoms, we can identify the disease. You have taken notes. I trust that everyone in the mansion has been doing so, and Shell will kind of scratch his nose awkwardly. Well,
Honest will do the same, oh, hey, Mr. Sherlock.
And so I trust that a fuller picture is slowly coming together. Naturally, as we fix these problems we are encountering, we will be able to identify the larger cause of them. Take heart. You are heart of this group because you are of solid and strong mind to finish the job. Now, as I was saying, moving into groups.
All right, chill here with me. Let's go solve Mr. Sherlock's disease.
Right. Well, I'm holding up Mr. Oh, he's got a cane, isn't he? All right. Well, sorry, Mr. Holmes. Don't mean to get. You got all your stuff on you. I know, Shell. You don't have to tell me. All right. Of course, Mr. Holmes. And yeah.
So Sherlock at this point probably has about 17 total health remaining. Mechanically, his sheet is deactivated right now, so sorry, Turk. But so from what I'm hearing, you guys are trying to lure the Wolfman back to this area, correct?
Correct. And then Shulks would attempt to subdue or imprison, as is in his line of work he's become rather efficient at.
Okay. So, unfortunately, nothing happens. No one comes. The longer you sit and wait, the more that William gets restless. As usual, he's likely very annoyed at this point. Possibly, correct me if I'm wrong, starts pacing around this area, perhaps?
Yeah.
You start to pick up on the trail of the Wolfman, being that you are who you are. And after some time waiting and realizing the plan doesn't work, you get more and more interested in the trail of where Wolfman went after he attacked Sherlock.
This is useless, all this sitting around waiting.
What was that, Mr. William?
These creatures, you said it yourself, they're not just beasts, they're not monstrosities, they've got human minds and human cunning. And these things, they're being targeted and hunted and fought every inch of the way. They're smart, they're survivors. They're not going to wander into a clearing. They can smell us. More than likely, they've been tracking us since we got here, if not before. They probably know your movements, ours, and everything in between. They know what we're doing. They know how we'll think. They know how we'll come after them. And they know the way to keep themselves alive.
Well, I don't know how I think.
No one knows how you think, Ennis. It's a saving grace of you, I'll be honest.
What would you suggest, William?
The only thing we can do is take the hunt to these creatures. They can run, they can hide. They're smart. As I say, they survive because people are scared of them. Because people wait. They're passive. They try and capture them, try and understand them. Aurora's right. These things, they're not real people. They can't be reasoned with. We need to hunt.
When you say that, Shulks will kind of shoulder back and stiffen a bit, but continue to listen.
Surely you'll know this. Being a bounty hunter, studying creatures of habit, they won't come to you. You have to go to them, one way or the other.
Sure enough. Carry on, good friend.
Oh, thank you. Perhaps a more aggressive approach is needed, but again, the detainment of the individual is not specifically set to, because we are merciful. It is, I understand your profession. That is why I had Marcus reach out to you as we did. This is clear. It is part of a larger plot, and if we can seek to further understand it before we dispatch of it, or however we may, then I think we'd be better for it.
I understand that, but, our job first and foremost is keeping people safe.
Of course.
And as I understand, whatever this leads to, if it gives us answers where we need them, we're on the track of doing that. But all the time this thing is out there, people aren't safe. And by people, I don't just mean Joe Blogg's public wandering through here in the dead of night. I mean us, as you'll account firsthand.
Indeed. Your concern for your companion's safety is noted and appreciated. I can trust you as the monster hunter to more accurately drive the hunt.
Mr. Sherlock, did the wolf attack you for chasing it, or just to attack you?
Well, I was pursuing it, certainly. He had committed murders in these woods. And such, I sought to stop him. But again, I didn't immediately attack him. I didn't have the chance to gain the upper hand.
I just wanted to make sure I had the history correct, because half a monster doesn't necessarily make a monster. But if he was killing, he was killing.
Great. So at this point, I assume that William, you're going to start following the scent and the trail, correct?
Oh yeah.
All right. Is everyone on board?
Yeah, Shulks would try to, making sure that Chell had Holmes, would move to fall in step next to William and just quietly say, "So it would seem we are in the same line of profession. Monster hunting."
Same line, different clients, you could say.
"We will have to commiserate over a beverage sometime, my friend."
Whatever you say. Let's make it out of it first.
Yep.
And
So
he'll nod.
now that you're trying to leave and you're following the scent, you have no issue. You follow the scent out past Epping and beyond Epping and closer to London. As you get to the outskirts of London, it seems that the scent changes and then you lose it. But whatever it was, which to you smells and seems most like the Wolfman, has now entered London. But you do not know where. At this time, you probably head back to the one place you know for safety, study, research, the mansion. However, when you get back to the mansion, standing waiting for you already at the door is Marcus. And Marcus has a letter. He looks at all of you, and weirdly, he's kind of concerned. He notes at Sherlock and is very concerned looking at him, but there's something more pressing. And he looks at all of you and he says, "It seems someone has had a change of heart." And he hands you a piece of paper. And on the piece of paper is a very, very poorly written note. Terribly misspelled. It takes you a minute to even figure out what it says. But summed up, it basically says, "You have to stop them. They're trying to bring him back to join them. Signed, Fritz." And that is where tonight's episode will end.
Fritz.
I know what
Who
you
the hell is
know.
Fritz?
I've got no idea.
Is it a name that any of us would have heard of? That's a master detective.
Here's the first question. Does anyone know this name out of game?
No.
Well, yes.
In game, you probably don't know yet, but you may find out someday. For those who don't know, earlier there was a TPK deck of things, and a certain number was rolled, and there is your clue at this moment, and that is all I will give you. But as I stated, that is the end of tonight's episode. So if we do have a little bit of extra time. So if players want to go around in overlay order, say their quick thoughts or where their character is at, As well, at this moment, Marcus will hand Duke an official Victorian Paranormal Society badge, which will allow him access to the mansion. And he'll just quickly say, Sherlock, it's good to have you back.
Yes.
Don't scare me like that again.
Idea, Marcus. There's never anything to worry about.
And then he'll turn to Duke, hand him the badge, and say, you're always welcome. Thank you for bringing Sherlock home. And to the rest of you, thank you as well.
It seems that the job's not quite done yet, Marcus, and he'll fasten the pin under the lapel of his wool coat and fold it back over. And we both know that I don't like leaving a job undone.
Yes, I'm afraid lately there's been a lot of clues and not a lot of solving.
Oh, I don't think so. I think this group has slowly been putting together the answers to things.
Honest is gonna come up to Sherlock and be like, all right, now Sherlock, here's the thing to getting healed. And she's gonna pull out of her her flask. This is special sheep's liniment. It'll do you good. And then the point is to just drink that and then walk it off. And she's just gonna smack him on the back, kind of. But the liniment will try and strip his tongue. Should he try and drink it? It is probably the strongest alcohol that he's ever come across.
He's gonna like. Yes.
Cures you what ails you.
Indeed.
And also cures most sheeps of their ailments.
I do not doubt it in the slightest. Thank you. I'll
Yeah.
take this in my study.
I'm glad we found you.
I am also very glad to have been found. Unfortunately,
I'm still keeping notes of all the clues.
Good, very good. We could all discuss at some point while I'm here before the next case takes me.
Yes, Mr. Sherlock. You be careful now.
Of course. I have this lovely drink. Quick note before I retire to take my medicine. Apologies, Mr. Williams, that we were not able to precisely identify the locations of the wereman. And I understand you might greatly desire to pursue him at this moment, but I urge you that we will find him in time and not from a trail of corpses. I promise you that. We will do everything we can and use the great minds that we've collected here to ensure we can find this before anyone is hurt. In fact, Shell, if you could send a note to the irregulars to be on the lookout for... I'll write you a description, and I'll tell you a description later. But we will have the entire city looking for them.
I'm gonna probably head up to the study and not get much sleep tonight trying to piece this together. Aurora, I feel like your theories would be very beneficial if you have time at all tonight before you retire.
As she got there, she probably would have headed in that direction. For sure. So she'll nod, and I'm gonna head to the kitchen, grab a bite to eat, and I'll reach there.
Schultz, I do believe there was talk of a drink occurring at some point last we met.
There's always a drink occurring somewhere, Sherlock. And he'll clap his shoulder and look to William. Perhaps now might be a good time for that commiseration as well.
Yes, you did offer an invitation. to him. Apologies. It's Tibetan breathing technique. Expands earflow and really opens the senses.
It has been too long, Sherlock.
Mm,
I've forgotten
quite.
some of your quirks.
I must tell you some of my latest mysteries. I think you'll find them quite entertaining. I've been working with Marcus on writing some of them down with posterity. Should something like this actually occur.
I would rather enjoy reviewing them. I think I might be able to regale you with some tales of my own.
Quite.
Yeah, I've got a couple of stories myself. I'm going to get some food from the kitchen first, but I might join you for that drink after all. Let me tell you about the time I fought the Bat Boy.
Oh.
Please don't talk about me like that.
All right,
I
Aurora.
look forward to hearing it.
Great. So, we still have time to go around real quick. If each person wants to go around and say what their character is planning or what their next step is for them from here, we'll go ahead and do a special little thing like that, starting with Luca.
Annis doesn't really have much of a plan. She mostly likes to go around. She's kind of like an outside cat, where she's not really around in the mansion much. She'll just leave for a few days at a time, come back with a new scar, and then go sleep it off in her room, kind of thing. Steal some food from the kitchens. You'll all notice she's stopped keeping such a close shave on her undercut here, or side cut here. It's more just a grown out stubble at this point. Though she probably would shave it fresh now that Sherlock's back at the mansion. I gotta look sharp for the boss. But yeah, Honest doesn't really have a plan. She's just hanging out, doing whatever Marcus needs her to. I'm trying to be a good case solver, taking whatever notes she can possibly think of are clues.
Awesome. William?
William's been keeping himself busy with work as ever, taking contracts, bits and bobs, anything to keep himself sharp while he's on the job. But also of late, he's been paying particular attention to tracking a certain individual or possible individual. A lot of his kind of mumblings and murmurings around the manor, it's been noted from a couple of people that he seems to be keeping some sort of journal of events, of things that he's doing, and is in and out of the manor a lot more than usual. Seems to be coming back with various injuries, and spending days at a time away from the manor all over the country, trying to peek into various resources, collecting letters and whatnot, articles about certain individuals. There's something going on.
All right, great. Aurora?
Yeah, so Aurora would be probably coming and going from work a lot. And she has found like a favorite little spot with a tavern with a cat that she hangs out with, and keeps an eye on the folks who come and go from the underground. But she's been doing her own research and trying to kind of figure out how all of this is connected and intertwined. She's been talking to Aaliyah a bit about it, and now knowing this part, she's even more invested in that part of it. So I'm sure she'll be doing some more digging.
Great. Dr. Gray?
Dr. Gray normally works like the night shift at the asylum as a psychiatrist, but he's probably been spending a little bit more time inside now because rumors of the council and like thinking about who might be on it. He's a little nervous, especially with this last note. He's going to go to the study and spend like even more time in there since he's a little bit nocturnal and doesn't sleep much anyways. He's got a lot of ideas, they're not all good, but like he needs to get all of them down and figure out the possibilities. Because he does have someone he's afraid of, he's afraid is gonna be it.
Great. And our newest entry to the VPS, good old Duke. Where does Duke go from here?
Duke would he would speak briefly to Marcus and then transition his suitcase from wherever he was staying when he first arrived to the manor, taking up probably one of the guest rooms, traveling very light. It would be noted on his suitcase there is an emblem of a tooth on it, which seems rather odd. But he would have set up in one of the guest rooms and would be seen in the common areas writing a lot of correspondence, leaving, kind of going about his own errands. If anyone stopped to visit with him, he would be happy to strike up conversation. But he would also be trying to leverage contacts, talking with Sherlock to get a description of the individual that this wolf man, and try to begin leveraging his skills to find this person within the city, and as quickly as possible. But again, you get the sense that Duke doesn't stay anywhere for long, so he's going to be here for a short time.
Great. Last but not least, Chell and Sherlock. I just want to say I did not give Turk a heads up, and the only reason I took a second break was to message him real quick. So thanks for that, Turk, for being ready, because I didn't want to. Go get a scarf. I didn't want to prep you ahead of time because then you would know what was happening. But also, I didn't tell him much else. I said, can you record some audio and just go off of the script, and that's all I'm going to tell you? And he did it, so...
You play it twice, and you have to listen to yourself talk.
Incredible work.
Well, Shell is doing exactly as Mr. Holmes said. He's mobilizing the Baker Street regulars, looking for descriptions of the wereman, however Holmes describes him. And then beyond that, doing a bit of work. He also is kind of like, be on the lookout for Fritz. All right, everyone? And like, that could be a very wide, stupid thing, but Shell said, like, take every note. That's what Sherlock would do. Yeah, Sherlock is going to heal, get back to strength, and then begin looking over the compiled notes, seeing what Aurora and others, being sure to check in on Annis and what work that she's done, and everybody, to make sure he has an accurate idea of what's been going on. He has his theories, but he wants to see everyone else's thoughts. And we'll be working towards connecting all of their dots into a larger picture.
All right.
It'll be either in his office or out in the city as needed.
Awesome. Great. Well, that brings us to a close of the case of the missing Holmes. He is no longer missing. Also, big thank you to Chrissy for joining in last minute and letting me mail her a box and all of that. So now you can use it and put stuff in it.
So, respectfully jealous of your Dungeon Master handout game right now.
Listen, it's so easy. Like, Amazon, zip it over and then add some imagination and you're good.
Listen, it even came addressed to my house as my character. So kudos to Cole for extra steps.
I was really afraid it wasn't going to open tonight, period.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, did they just machine it wrong? Uh-oh.
I've been looking at it and the little piece is bent funny.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Well, that.
It worked. Well, now if everyone wants to go around